Good morning, students. Have a nice day. I hope you all are safe at home. Today we'll see Science and Technology Part 1. In this section, remaining part of Chapter 6, that is Refraction of Light. Today we will continue. So let us begin with the topic Twinkling of Stars. Students, effect of atmospheric conditions on refraction of light can be seen in the twinkling of stars. Stars are self-luminous and can be seen at night in the absence of sunlight. Self-luminous means stars have their own light. They appear to be point sources because of their being at a very large distance from us. As the density of air increases with a lowering height above the surface of the earth, the refractive index also increases. Starlight coming towards us travel from rarer medium to denser medium and constantly bends toward the normal. This makes the star appear to be higher in the sky as compared to its actual position. The apparent position of the star keeps changing a bit. This is because of the motion of atmospheric air and changing air density and temperature. Because of this, the refractive index of air keeps changing continuously. Because of this change, the position and brightness of the star keeps changing continuously and the star appears to be twinkling. We do not see twinkling of planets. This is because planets are much closer to us as compared to stars. They therefore do not appear as point sources but appears as a collection of point sources. Because of changes in atmospheric refractive index, the position as well as the brightness of individual point source change, but the average position and total average brightness remains unchanged and planets do not twinkle. By sunrise, we mean the appearance of the sun above the horizon. But when the sun is somewhat below the horizon, its light rays are able to reach us along a curved path due to their refraction through the Earth's atmosphere. Thus, we see the sun even before it emerges above the horizon. Same thing happens at the time of sunset, and we keep seeing the sun for a short while even after it goes below the horizon. Next topic is dispersion of light. Students, one small experiment you can perform at home. Hold the plastic scale in your compass in front of your eyes and see through it while turning it slowly. You will see light rays divided into different colors. These colors appear in the following order: violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. You know that light is electromagnetic radiation. Wavelength is an important property of radiation. The wavelength of radiation to which our eyes are sensitive is between 400 and 700 nanometer. In this interval, radiation of different wavelengths appear to have different colors mentioned above. The red light has maximum wavelength, that is close to 700 nanometer, while violet light has the smallest wavelength, close to 400 nanometer. Remember that 1 nanometer is equal to 10 raised to minus 9 meter. In vacuum, the velocity of light rays of all frequencies is the same, but the velocity of light in a medium depends on the frequency of light, and thus different colors travel with different velocity. Therefore, the refractive index of a medium is different for different colors. Thus, even when white light enters a single medium like glass, the angles of refraction are different for different colors. So, when the white light coming from the sun through air enters any refracting medium, it emerges as the spectrum of 7 colors. So, the definition of dispersion of light is given as the process of separation of light into its component colors while passing through a medium is called the dispersion of light. Sir Isaac Newton was the first person to use a glass prism to obtain sun's spectrum. When white light is incident on the prism, different colors bend through different angles. Among the 7 colors, red bends the least while violet bends the most. Thus, as shown in the figure, the 7 colors emerge along different paths and get separated, and we get a spectrum of 7 colors. Partial and total internal reflection. When light enters a rarer medium from a denser medium, it gets partially reflected, that is, part of the light gets reflected and comes back into the denser medium as per laws of reflection. This is called partial reflection. The rest of the light gets refracted and goes into the rarer medium. As light is going from denser to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal, that is, the angle of incidence I is smaller than the angle of refraction R. This is shown on the left side of the figure. If we increase I, R will also increase according to Snell's law, as the refractive index is a constant. For a particular value of I, the value of R becomes equal to 90 degree. This value of I is called the critical angle. For angles of incidence larger than the critical angle, the angle of refraction is larger than 90 degree. Such rays return to the denser medium as shown towards the right in the figure. Thus, all the light gets reflected back into the dense medium. This is called total internal reflection. We can determine the values of the critical angle as the follows. 1 and 2 is equal to sin I upon sin R. For total internal reflection, I is equal to critical angle, R is equal to 90 degree. Therefore, 1 and 2 is equal to sin I upon sin 90 degree is equal to sin I, because sin 90 is equal to 1. Rainbow is a beautiful natural phenomenon. It is the combined effect of a number of natural processes. It is the combined effect of dispersion, refraction, and total internal reflection of light. It can be seen mainly after a rainfall. Small droplets of water act as small prisms. when light rays from the sun enter these droplets, it gets refracted and dispersed. Then there is an internal reflection as shown in the figure. And after that, once again the light gets refracted while coming out of the droplets. All these three processes together produce the rainbow. Thank you, students. This chapter is completed. Very soon we will meet for the Science and Technology Part 2, Chapter 7. Till then, take care, stay home, stay safe. Bye.